Welcome, and I want to talk about something that's very, very topical, happening right now. And I'm wearing my glasses because I'm actually going to read you something. I don't usually do that on Facebook Live, but I thought this was so important. I wanted to share it with you because the truth is, you're not going to see this in the elite media. But you had 9 senior British admirals and generals join in an advertisement in the London Times. It was called an answer to President Trump and a message to the Prime Minister. They quote President Trump, who said, quote, "Have they fulfilled their obligations to us? If they fulfill our obligations to us, the answer is yes," when he's asked about military aid in the event of an attack. And this is what they said. Now, I want you to listen to this because you're not going to see this in the elite media, and it tells you how phony the version of reality is that you're getting all too often from the New York Times or the Washington Post or CBS or NBC or ABC. Quote, "We, the undersigned, have all held senior commands, including fighting commands, across the spectrum in Her Majesty's service. We believe that President Trump asks a valid question and that he deserves a serious reply. In Great Britain's case, the following 8 points are the framework for that reply. They call for a 10-year program of rebuilding and realignment to begin with the imminent modernizing defense report, which must reflect the scale of responsibility. We respectfully remind the Prime Minister that uniquely in government, she and her ministers do not control how much money is needed to provide adequate defense of the realm. Our potential enemies determine what is needed. This is an eternal truth from which there is no waiver. President Trump is right to warn us not to relearn this bitter lesson. He is also right that Europe has been a free rider on U.S. defense for far too long. That period is now over." Now let me read to you who said this. General Sir Richard Barrons, former Commander, Joint Forces Command. Vice Admiral Sir Jeremy Blackham, former Deputy Chief of the Defense Staff. Sir Richard Dearlove, former Chief, Secret Intelligence Service, MI6. Air Chief Marshal Sir Michael Graydon, former Chief of the Air Staff. General Sir Michael Jackson, former Chief of the General Staff. Rear Admiral Roger Lane Knott, former Flag Officer Submarines. Lieutenant General Jonathan Riley, former General Officer commanding British Forces Iraq and Deputy Commander in Afghanistan. Major General Julian Thompson, Royal Marines, Commander 3rd Commando Brigade, 1982, leading recapture of the Falkland Islands. Admiral Sir George Zambellis, former First Sea Lord. Now think about that. Even though you're not getting any coverage in the elite media here, 9 senior British officers said flatly that, I'm going to re-quote them. This is from the 9 British officers. Quote, "President Trump is right to warn us not to relearn this bitter lesson. He is also right that Europe has been a free rider on U.S. defense for far too long." This is not some right-wing group of Americans. These are 9 senior British officers. And what do they call for? Very serious, practical things. 1, spending precisely targeted to rebuild our hollowed-out key frontline capabilities. Capability means systems and people to provide decisive assets across the whole spectrum of modern conflict. Special funding should be directed into complementary technical investment in artificial intelligence and autonomous systems, active and passive cyber and secret intelligence, but without reduction in other areas. A further eternal truth of war is that the enemy does not attack in the area of latest vogue, but in whichever area has been allowed to decay. All must be strong across the full spectrum of modern and future warfare. 2, a Royal Navy restored as a truly worldwide power and a brigade-level amphibious capability for the Royal Marines reinstated. 3, a field army based on a corps of 3 divisions. 4, an Air Force capable, sufficient, and resourced both to secure our airspace and to conduct successful full spectrum joint operations. 5. A multi-service capability to secure all our borders, waters, and territorial assets. 6. Withdrawal from the European Union Galileo satellite program and the building of a national 4i GPS satellite system to enhance Five Eyes' secure capabilities. 7. A defense budget sufficient for all these needs, just like in the later 1930s. We can't afford not to, and for as long as it takes, with a cast-iron commitment to our NATO and Five Eyes allies. 8. Arbitrary manpower caps lifted. The forces re-recruited as restored capabilities demand, and the return of recruiting from outsourced companies to the services, including MI6. Pretty straightforward. And notice, by the way, where they come down on the border. They need, as they said in number 5, a multi-service capability to secure all our borders, waters, and territorial assets. Sounds a lot like Donald Trump. So I just wanted to share this with you because I felt that it was so important for you to understand that while it's not getting covered in the American news media, there are 9 senior British officers who have taken out an ad in the London Times in order to communicate how strongly they feel that President Trump is right about NATO, he's right about national security, and it is very important that we have that kind of commitment here in the United States. So I just wanted to share this with you. I thought it was so important, as I said, that I put my glasses on to read it. You'll be able to get it. We're going to post it at Gingrich Productions. We've also sent it out as a tweet because I really wanted to share with people, knowing especially that our liberal media would not tell you the truth about what kind of support the president's getting from people who dedicated their life to defending Great Britain and defending the West. They know that Donald Trump is right, even if some of our reporters don't. So thank you very, very much. I thought it